Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for choosing to come and share your time with me today, and I really appreciate it with that. And I just want to welcome everybody here. And I like to do some experiential things. Sorry, I also like to walk around without a microphone. Sorry about that, Mike. But I'm just going to ask everybody just to take a minute here and close your eyes and ask yourself, what impact do I want to make in the world? And I'm going to ask you, as this comes through for you today, to hold this during our session. So when you feel ready, just let your eyes come back open. And I want you to imagine what it would feel like every day if you woke up feeling like you are deeply connected to your purpose in life. Like you had and you knew your clear path of where you were going to go. And what if you were supported through absolute love for yourself in creating this purpose and walking this path? What would that feel like for you? I know we have kind of a small group here today, but if anyone wants to share, is there anybody out here who would like to share what that might feel like, or maybe even what came up for you when I asked you to consider what your impact was in the world?
So nothing came up in particular, like no answers, but I did notice there's a shift, maybe a lot more present when you ask that. And I can almost feel it in the room, like everyone else's awareness shifted in that sense.
Yeah, I love that. So I don't think everybody who might be listening heard that, but he said, that while not really anything came up, there was a shift. And not just for him, that he felt it in the room, that when everybody kind of went into that space, right? And it really can make a difference in how we're working with that every single day. So before we go any farther, for those of you who might not know me, and I don't think I know anybody in this room right now, so I'm Kate Brown. I'm actually a certified clinical aromatherapist. I'm a healing touch for animals, a certified practitioner and a healing touch spiritual ministry practitioner, also a certified crystal healer for people and animals. So I do a whole bunch of different things, and I've incorporated a lot of this into my work. And one of the things that I've noticed in working with people over the last few years in particular is that a lot of us have gotten to this point in our life where we really feel like it's time for us to start to live in purpose. I just want to tell you a little story about myself. I never even thought about my purpose for most of my life. I just floated around along, whatever came along, I took that on. Didn't really have any dreams, didn't really have any goals. Had a pretty good life, all things considered. Struggled a lot with depression and anxiety, though, since I was, 12, 13 years old, which really affected a lot of what I did. Was also the oldest daughter, and my perfectionism and being the oldest child and daughter came out in my fear of trying something that I might fail at. Right? Anybody else can relate to that? Yeah. So some people you just keep working on it and working on it and working on it to try to make it perfect. And by the way, perfection is the enemy of done. But for many of us, that perfectionism also shows up in our fear to try things, our fear to put ourselves up there, our fear to look like an idiot, our fear not to be that oldest perfect child who their parents could depend on to be the third parent in the house. Right? All of those things show up for a lot of us. And when I started, as I got to an older age, and I was in my mid-40s before I found any of these things that I'm talking about right now, any of these things that now dominate my life, that are the purpose and my mission in life. I was in my mid-40s before I even started to find out about them. It's just been a little over 20 years for me before I've been doing these sort of things. And it's been incredible to see the shift in my life, but also the shift in the people around me, my family, my friends, my animals. You know, I've always been an animal girl, and by the way, I found most of this because of my animals. So that can be kind of a cool thing, you know, that we find things that we have purpose in, even if we don't realize that it's purpose, and they can help to drive us into working with something new. So everybody in this room, in some way, is a healer, probably a caregiver to someone, or some, you know, maybe an animal or something like that. And with this, we know that we can support ourselves through self-love, and in my case, through aromatherapy, which I'll talk about a bit today, to help us release doubt, to reconnect with our purpose, and really to create lasting transformation. So for some of you who are here for Leah's talk, you know, she was talking about that. How do we find those patterns? How do we break those patterns? How do we shift into that next state so that we're not in this place of self-sabotage all the time? Flip my screen here, maybe. Maybe I'm going to flip my screen. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about the power of love in transformation. So love just isn't about transforming our hearts. I think often we think about love as just this heart-centered thing, which it is, by the way. But one of the things that I like to do and like to think about when I talk about love is, what do we do every day to connect with love so that we're living our life from a place of love, from a place of kindness, from a place of our purpose? So I'm a big fan of affirmations. Anybody else like to do affirmations? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah, a few of you. Okay. So like simple affirmations like what I have up here, if you can see the screen here, is I'm open to love, I am grounded in love, I share love with the world. And whether you do all three or you choose one, I love to get up in the morning and do some affirmations like this. Set my intention for the day so that I am working from this space, from my heart space, in everything that I do as I move forward in the world with this. And so love is the most powerful force for transformation. It shifts our energy, just like what the young man here said when we just did that closing our eyes and, you know, thinking about our impact in the world. It shifts quickly when we move into our place of love in that. We're in our own alignment where we're supposed to be in the world, in that vortex where we feel like everything works for us. We have those days, right? We wake up, our hair looks great. We find the parking spot right close to the door. Everybody we talk to is kind and nice, and we have a great interaction with them. And then sometimes we have those other days, right? And those other days feel really hard. And sometimes it seems like it just keeps getting worse. But if we can come back into our heart center, we can shift that focus and we can make that feel different. And we can make our lives different within that. So it's really one of the greatest tools that I work with is aromatherapy. Anybody else here use essential oils or? Yay! Well, we're going to do a little thing here in a minute, but I just want to talk about, I'm going to talk about 3 essential oils here in a minute that are really easy, really common, and something that we can all, you know, work with if it's something that you choose to do. But aromatherapy, I feel like, can be a catalyst to transform our life. And I think about whenever I use aromatherapy that that's what I'm doing. I'm making a change, the catalyst to change for something else. Maybe it's to change my focus. Sometimes just smelling an essential oil, I can change my focus. I can get present again. I can let go of the anger, you know, because I look back and my puppy just tore up something that I forgot to pick up off the floor, right? And I love my puppy, but you know, he's at that stage where he's chewing up everything in the house, right? And sometimes you can't be paying attention 24/7. And who am I angry at? Mostly at myself, right? Because I know he was going to chew that up if I left it on the floor, but I did anyway. Usually shoes. Shoes and socks are the two big ones he likes to get into. But a callus really sparks a change for us. It's a gentle nudge that says, hey, let's do what's best for you from a place of self-love, from a place of unconditional love and compassion within your own life. And essential oils carry these unique frequencies that resonate with our body, with our mind, with our spiritual being within that. And they help us to release those blocks that hold us back, hold us in those patterns of self-sabotage, and help us to embrace fully love for ourselves and love for everyone else that is out there. So I'm going to share 3 essential oils that we probably all heard of, frankincense, myrrh, and fir. And by the way, does anybody recognize those from anywhere? Yeah, from the Bible, right? Most biblical scholars think that gold actually related to balsam, and balsam is a kind of fir. So, you know, when we think about what did we think the wise men did? Drag some frankincense trees over to Jesus' house, right? He probably brought them essential oils because that would have been one of the most valuable things that would have been on earth, and would have been more valuable, by the way, than gold at that time, if we look at history with that. So let's just look at these 3 essential oils, and then if you choose to, I'll give you an opportunity to play with them here in a minute. But the first one being frankincense. And frankincense we often think about as being an oil of truth. It enhances our spiritual awareness. It helps us to calm down our mind. And it opens up our heart to understand the divine love that lives within us. It helps us to release fears and to release doubts. And it gives us room to find that confidence and clarity to live our life in purpose, to live our life from our heart. The second one is myrrh. This symbolizes our inner stillness, our healing. It's a nurturing oil. I like to call it my mother oil because it's so good for nurturing us and taking care of us and really syncing things up. It grounds us in our own truth and our own inner wisdom within that. And then lastly, we have fir, which really helps with, you know, feeling resilient, feeling clarity. I always say with our big tree oils, I don't care if it's fir or what it is, we have those roots into the ground, right? And they're not just deep, they're also wide. They give us a foundation. And the branches reach up to the sky, connecting us with God, with the universe, with our source. And then we've got those big, strong trunks that come up through the center that give us that strength that we need within our core of who we are. So these are just, you know, some oil. There's, by the way, hundreds and hundreds of different oils out there. These are just 3 of them. But they're more than just a pleasant scent. They really can amplify our frequency, raise our vibration, our intentions. And they can be a powerful tool to help us to live in purpose and to make an impact in the world. So we are going to look here at how we can align our purpose with action. So taking intentional steps every single day can really make a difference. So I'm going to give you a practical step. I just got done talking about grand fir. It's one of my favorite oils. My animals all love it too, by the way. But we can take that every single morning. And what if we were smelling that when we were saying, I am love, I am grounded in love for the day? It's amazing the difference in how that will feel if you choose to incorporate a scent into that. And we want it to not be a toxic scent, right? We want it to be something healthy and something that's good for us and something that actually raises our vibration, not brings us into something that's more toxic. And many of the smells in the world, by the way, are synthetic and not very good for us. So those aren't the ones we want to be using. So I would like to share with you the ability to be able to do a little experiential along with this. So if you choose, I just got this up here if somebody wants to look at a pretty picture. But if you choose, I'm going to pass around some oils. If anybody wants one, take just one drop. That's all we need. Trust me, we'll have so much beautiful smell in here by the end. We won't need more than that. And I've got the 3 oils that we talked about. Imagine that. And I'm going to ask you, when you do this, to take a drop of the oil, to place it in the palm of your hand. Sometimes 2 fall out, and that's okay. And rub your palms together. And when we do this, we open up the fragrance and the wisdom of the oil, and then we're going to take a few deep smells when we get that in our hand, okay? For some reason, my myrrh doesn't want to open, which it sometimes does, so I'm going to start with the frankincense and myrrh. So just take the one you want. Just do one. Really, you don't need more than one. I'm not going to get the myrrh open, so we're going to share frankincense and fir, okay? If you want it, and if you don't, that's okay too. So we're going to just pass that around. We can come to the other side. And usually they'll just drop out when you put it on. And if I can ask the people in the audience to kind of share with one another. And again, when we get that in our hands, rotate your palms around together. Our hands, we do so much with our hands. We touch life with love and compassion, with patience and kindness. We have energy in the palms of our hand. And we rub the oil in between those hands, and we open up the wisdom. Sometimes we might even get a message. Notice if you feel different, if your thoughts shift, just by having a little drop of oil. So as you begin, and you do this, and I know we're still passing the oils a little bit, but once you've done that, make sure you take a couple nice, deep smells, nice, and just allow them. And when you guys get done, just leave them back there. I'll grab them. And just enjoy it. Notice what happens. Notice how you feel. Let your eyes get soft, or maybe gently close them. Put your feet flat on the floor, if you can. Uncross your ankles or your knees if you happen to be in that space. And I'm going to ask you to put one hand at your heart and one hand on your abdomen. And inhale deeply, feeling the calming, grounding energy that we're sharing with one another right now, that the oils are helping us to provide, that we get from connecting with our own heart. And take a nice deep breath in. Feel it move your hands. And exhale, releasing, letting go. Anything that you don't need to hang on to right now. And if it feels right for you, I'm going to ask you to just, even if you just mouth the words or say them really quietly out loud. I am love. And when we mouth them or say them quietly out loud, we share them with the universe. We put it out there instead of keeping it only within us. I am love. I am purpose. I am ready to make an impact. I am ready to make an impact. And making sure to bring your attention back to your breath. And with each breath, release any tensions or any doubts that may have come up with those phrases. And feel the support of the oil that you chose. Feel the groundedness. Feel your heart more open. And not just to give love, but to receive. And I invite you to take 3 nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, breathing in love and purpose, releasing any self-doubt that gets in the way of that on your exhale. 3 times, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then just take a couple of breaths when you're finished with that to come back to the space, back to the room. Don't just flip your eyes open if they're closed. Take a couple minutes, let them open slowly. Let your nervous system come back with you. Feel your feet on the floor, your butts in the seat, your back against the backs of your chairs. And just know that a simple practice like this on a daily basis can really shift your transformation toward whatever it is that is your purpose. It opens up and connects you with love that is within you and the love that is so much love out there to support you. Would anyone like to share what that was like for them to just do that simple little shift? Yeah. Made you feel stronger. Yeah. More confident. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Yeah, so some situational worries came up and then kind of blended into a general peace, she's saying. How lovely is that? Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to share? Yeah. So she was saying she used the fur. It's very grounding, very settling. Yeah. Anybody else new to oils that found a shift with doing that? Yeah.
I don't do oils. I don't get it. Okay, so I think when you started talking earlier, I said, I thought this was about why I don't get. Oh, okay, I'll let them do. But the fur, you use, I mean, I'm trying to be open-minded because I don't get it. But it's so just the whole thing. And I would like, it's something to make my house smell better. 6 years ago, they polyurethane floor, and I can still smell polyurethane. It drives me insane. So I guess what we spent really does affect us. I don't know how to, I don't know how to fix to get rid of it. I talked to somebody before, and said, oh, you'll never get rid of that smell. And it's very faint, but I can smell it.
Yeah.
Is there like a wick or something you can put in a jar? I mean,
And you absolutely can. So she's saying she doesn't know a lot about oils, she doesn't get it, but she used fir, and she thought she has some smell from her house from some polyurethane, a toxic substance that we use a lot, right? That, probably will never go away, is what she's being told. And can the oils help with that? Wouldn't it be nice that that smell that she had on her hand would smell like that all the time? That her house could smell like that all the time. So let me tell you that there is. A lot of us use a water-based diffuser. You put a few drops of the oil. And by the way, just so you know, eucalyptus, number one to kill those icky smells in the house. So if,
Smell nice all the time.
yeah,
When I walk in the door, the house that smells like, oh, we have beautiful wood floors, right? They're always finished. But this fur reminds me of wood. Helping my dad with the country weaver, and here you see the wood floors, and if you could smell it, you're like, ooh, and it's what I thought of.
yeah. Yeah, and you could absolutely do that. I'd run some eucalyptus, get rid of the smell, and then start to do some things that would actually bring in the natural enhancement to what it should smell like, right, in nature. Yeah. Yes, in a water-based diffuser, a genuine eucalyptus oil would be fine for pets. Yes. Yeah. Now, synthetics, no. So, but yeah, in a water-based diffuser, very, very mild. By the way, what we're putting out into the air in a water-based diffuser with essential oils is less parts per billion than what a lot of toxic substances are said to be okay and safe for us. So, yeah, and probably not even real essential oils. So she was saying about cleaning products and being toxic, and then they say they add essential oils to them, and that's, yeah. But essential oils, today we can use them for so many things. And today we're really talking about how do they make us feel. And several of you said that, like how you felt different in smelling them. And then incorporate, like if we just had done that exercise, we would have all felt better, right? Probably we would have all shifted a little bit if we didn't use an oil with it. But when we use an oil, it's like a force amplifier. If you're a Star Wars, right? Star Wars fan. It makes a little bit of a couple things actually make for a bigger impact than a bigger amount of either one of those things. So if we just use the oils, or if we just did the quick little breathing meditation, we would have felt good. When we put them together, the amplification is bigger and better than either one of them would ever give us. So, just think about that as you're doing things, that how can we put something else together? We don't want to make it overcomplicated, but hey, we can all throw a drop of oil on our hand or have a little diffuser in the corner and put that on and really make a difference with what we're doing there. And I know I'm running very close on my time, right? So I just want to, share with everybody that I'm happy to, I'm going to do questions and answers for anybody who wants to do that. I also have a master class coming up next Thursday. I've got some flyers here if anybody's interested in that. You're certainly welcome to join me. It's online on Zoom, how I do most of my things these days. I said I had to figure out how to reconnect my new computer to my projector because I hadn't used it in so long for an in-person conversation. But this is just something that we all have the ability to be able to go within and to make these changes. And we don't always even have to know what it, so for a lot of us, what is our purpose? Do we know? Or do we need to work on that? But if you're maybe like me, and I'm going to be 62 next month, and so I know my time is more limited for what I have to make an impact. And when I was young, I'd love to see that we have some younger people in the audience, and when I was young, I never even thought about it. And so I love today that it seems like a lot of our younger people are more connected to that they do want to make an impact. They do want to know that they have purpose in life and leave a legacy, whatever that is. And everything we do in life, whether we know it or not, has a ripple effect and affects other people. The universe can't survive without us here. We were an integral part of being the universe. So I just want to thank you all for being here with me today, and hopefully you learned a little bit about oils and give you a little bit to think about how you can make an impact on the rest of the world. Thank you so much. And then if we have any questions, I know we have time for Q&A, so if anyone has any questions or anything I can answer for them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spiritual, people seem to be using it for many different things. Do you have classes on all of them?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, I teach all kinds of classes. I put my contact information up here, and it's also on the flyers. Happy to have a conversation. Reach out to me, and we can figure out what is the best. I mean, I teach everything from, 20-minute little quick tip things to 20, certification classes, which are, 100 and some hours worth of training. So yeah, so if anything in between there, I work with essential oils for a lot of those things. So I'm happy to share with you how we could, best connect. And then I do one-on-one consultations too. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions or comments? And if you're interested, grab my information and give me a call, and I'd be happy to give you some suggestions for how you could get rid of that polyurethane smell, because I really think we could do it.
Is smelling that, and I see the video, and all the grandkids, because the grandkids will say, okay, I can't stand when I first walk in the door, I can still smell. They go, but that's grandma's house, it smells like that, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I'm thinking it's the negative smell, just that negatively affects you. Now,
It does.
I'm a happy person, I'm always happy. I'm just very rare I'm down, because you wonder, you wonder if it's negatively doing something, I don't know. But every time I walk in the door, it's like, you should walk in the door of your home and feel,
Yeah. I agree, and that is what you want your home to feel like. And yes, it does negatively impact you. The cleaning products, these toxic products that are in our rugs and our floors and our paint,
That's why I don't have rugs, it's all hardwood.
right.
So sick.
But all of that, they actually can be endocrine disruptors. That they can create hormone imbalances. They can create skin problems. There's actually a study out that says that women who are stay-at-home mothers and wives who clean their own home have a 40% greater chance of getting cancer. So these products are really toxic, and one of the biggest places that we see it is our respiratory system. So, I feel like in the last 4 or 5 years, we've had this whole dichotomy of, oh, we need to protect our respiratory tracts, and here let's use all that stuff that we know has ingredients in it that disrupt our respiratory, that are unhealthy for our respiratory tract. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And, we really have to start to think about that. I think, that gets into environmental and climate and all of those things that are good for us.
People, the marijuana plant right down the road, there's some morning you open your window, you go, yes, now we'll just smell it. When there's skunks out there.
Now that I can't help you. I can help you inside, but sometimes we don't have the ability to control that. And we all live here if we're here in the Illinois Valley, and I come from a farm family, so I'm not kicking the farmers, but we know that everything that's a lot of what's used out there, those chemicals and stuff, they linger in the air, they linger in their soil, and they can be dangerous for us. So we want to control what we can control, and that's our environment in the house. And turning to, safe, natural, real products versus commercial chemical products can be a huge start to be able to do that. Anyone else have any questions or comments? All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in my class or just grabbing my contact information, feel free to pick up a flyer before you go.